The way he parries the blast with his fist, and as he's like pushing the blast, you see him knock back his leg, and when he pushes the force of his leg, and he goes in, and the impact frames, oh! Like, yo, we gotta go back and look at this. Just, like, look at how much cinema this sequence is. I love the cinematography here, the choreography. The way this is, the audience can see what's going on. The movement of the character, the struggle as he's fighting back against the energy blast. And as he's, like, fighting back, you see him reposition his leg and push forward through the blast to knock this man back. That's incredible, dude. That is cinema. Like, such a good sequence, man. Like, yo. I am ashamed of myself, and I kind of hate myself a little bit for the fact that I have not watched this sooner. Like, this came out on April 5th, like 4 days ago. And I finally dedicated some time to sit down and watch this anime. And boy, oh boy, I'm just gonna say it, guys. Anime of the season. Out of everything I've watched so far from this season, I haven't watched, like, everything, but I've watched a lot. The only thing I have yet to watch that everybody's hyping up is Lazarus and Cinderella Grey. Besides those two, I gotta say, To Be Hero X, hands down, best first episode. If it stays this consistent throughout its entire airing and runtime, it's not gonna be beat. I dare say, if it gains momentum and a lot of people start talking about this more, this will become Anime of the Year. I'm not joking. Like, I'm legitimately not joking. If this gains more momentum. Because I see this really getting popular. Like, for instance, this is just the first episode. And typically, when it comes to anime, the third episode, sometimes the fourth episode, is where some big things happen within story progression, at least for anime format. And if the third episode is as good as this, or even better, it's gonna blow up. Like, you're gonna have everybody talking about it. I predict that. I legitimately do. Now, I do want to say a few things, okay? I gotta show you guys the beginning of the episode, because when I show it, it's gonna give you a massive whiplash, because it shocked me when I started this episode. So let's just get right to it. You're not telling me when you take a hard look at this, you don't see Arcane. I know I did. And when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, is this actually like an anime? Did I click on the right thing? Because I was under the impression this was gonna be anime style. But I looked at the site. Obviously, I'm on Crunchyroll. I scrolled down, To Be Hero X, it has an anime poster, and I was just like, is this, like, legit? Like, is this actually, look at this cover, by the way, it looks godly. But, like, I was like, is this actually an anime? And I looked into it, yeah, I wasn't mistaken, it's actually an anime. But it's very clear that whoever, from what I'm hearing, apparently the link click director worked on this, is like the big like head honcho on this project, and if so, it makes a lot of sense. But whoever worked on this, everybody involved, so to speak, they need a pay raise first of all. But secondly, it's very clear that they wanted to give people's impressions of the show when they started it, the impression of Arcane. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's very unique. I think it stands out, and I think that it has a lot of ways it can really actually blow up in terms of popularity. And so let's segue into that one. So we need to talk about the actual uniqueness, the experimental art and animation of this anime, a TV anime at that. Now, there might have been more anime like this in the past I'm unaware of, and if so, clarify for me in the comments below. I will gladly accept that. But at least from what I have watched, there's very few anime that look like this. The only thing that comes to mind I can even imagine that looks even similar to this is Arcane, and that's not an anime, okay? But typically, when you have an anime that is unique in terms of art style and animation, there's two ways it can go. It is thrown in the dumpster bin because it was so ambitious that it just lost track of what it was, and people think it's just gross, and they throw it in the dumpster. Or it's so ambitious, and it's done so well, and the story is so strong alongside of it, that it's able to flourish and become one of the best anime of all time. You don't believe me? Let me give very solid examples of anime that have very unique animation art styles that is still talked about to this day. One recent example, Panty and Stocking. Everybody recognizes it. It's very unique for what it was for an anime style. It stands the test of time, and it is a reason why it is a cult classic. Gurren Lagann, Dragon Ball, Kill la Kill. Hell, let's just say everything from Studio Trigger and Gainax was very unique for their styles. And when a studio does a very unique style, typically, they can become very popular if it's done very well. And in this case, that's what I think is going to happen to 2B Hero X. If this anime stays very consistent with its art and animation and has a very solid foundation of a story that remains consistent going forward, then this will probably be not just the anime of the season, but potentially a runner-up or even the anime of the year. I could see this becoming popular. I could see this becoming the talk of the town if there is a very high-quality episode that's even beyond this episode that just blows everyone away. At the right time, right place, the episode comes out, it will build a lot of traction. I sense it. It's going to happen if, like I said, it stays consistent. Now, with that being said, we do need to talk about the story, because obviously I've made it fundamentally clear that the art and animation is fantastic. I love the shifting of 3D to 2D within this episode. It is phenomenal. The way the backgrounds are used and all that, it's fun. It's a very fun and beautiful show to watch. Also, a little tidbit, I watched this in dub. I know I'm probably going to get some flack for that. I usually watch only sub, but I'm not going to lie, the dub wasn't bad for this. Like, it actually was really good. Apparently, the original language is Chinese, so FYI on that one. But the dub, English dub, not bad. But let's get into the story. So the story is pretty basic, but not basic. It is not a carbon copy of typical or traditional hero series. There is some DNA, but it is very different, and so let's explain. Basically, if you think this is going to be a My Hero Academia clone, you're sadly mistaken. If you think this is going to be maybe a Marvel movie ripoff of some case, you're probably going to be mistaken as well. Maybe there's a comic like it from Marvel or DC, but at least from what I've seen from, like, you know, Marvel movies, and what I've seen from My Hero Academia, for example, this is nothing like it. So if you think this is going to be a retelling or rehashing of something like that, or tread that same ground, no, it's not. The only thing that's really similar to it is that there's heroes and villains within this world. That's really the only takeaway you can get, and that's common sense just when you look at the title of the series. So, the beginning of the story starts off with our main male character here. He gets into a heated debate, or let's say argument, with his boss. His boss doesn't like his work, he doesn't like what he's been doing, and so our MC effectively gets fired. And so, upon getting fired, he does what any mentally stable individual does. He goes on top of a rooftop building, he contemplates life, and it's very clear what's probably about to happen here. He starts to curse everything in the world. He starts to curse about, like, you know, how things could have been different, or the heroes that are on top, for instance, like Nice here. He's just very upset overall. And eventually, as he's just getting very upset, eventually the actual hero, Nice, does appear before him. He doesn't really make any conversation, he doesn't really talk with him, he just straight up walks off the building. And yes, he walks off the building, this is not an illusion, just straight up, and yes, he does unalive. That's it, he's done. And the entire episode's premise, the foundation of the story, is basically started thanks to this. Thanks to this iconic hero, I think he's rank 10, actually. This hero, okay, his death obviously is hush-hushed. It's swept under the rug. And the reason for that is because our main male character is now having to live that hero's life. Become Nice himself. Become that hero, get his hair painted or dyed, so to speak. He has to become that man and stand in for him, live his life, get his, you know, achievements, get his prestige, get his fans, even get his girlfriend. He is up to task, basically. He is the person now that has to live that man's life, even if he didn't want to, he is now forced to. His old life is effectively over. So it puts him in the shoes of a hero that is very well known, very notorious, but now he's this no-name guy that really had nothing going for him, but now he's in the shoes of a very big celebrity. So you can already see where this is going. He's having to live like a double life, or in this case, he's living a life of lies, and the lie is becoming his new truth. And as he continues to live this life, and these truths become more truth, or the lies become truth, so to speak, his old life will cease to exist. It will disappear, so to speak, and his old self will just fade away. And the reason for this, in the middle of the episode, it is implied or established that as more people, the public reception believes in something in terms of trust, that means that it becomes a reality. I don't really know the full example of how it fully works, but it's basically implied as more people believe in his lies and what he's saying, and they believe it's actually the truth, then he will gain power. He will get stronger, and, you know, he will become more and more like the actual hero Nice was. And he will become him, even if he will actually eventually come to the point where he'll start to believe that he is Nice himself as well, which does technically happen at the end of the episode when he is fighting the big bad villain that has a lot of fear pouring into him. So I think that in general, I like the establishment of the power system, at least when it comes to trust and it comes to fear and all that. It's pretty unique. So basically, people get stronger thanks to the belief system. That's what I believe. If I am wrong in any way, please correct me in the comments below. But regardless, he's living a life of lies. And it comes to the point to where he believes he's actually the OG hero Nice. And that's where it leads into the ending conclusion of the episode. As he's going back to his actual house, or his new home technically, he gets to see his, or Nice's girlfriend, now his girlfriend, but she is unaware of it, so to speak. She doesn't know. But he covers her up because he's not a sleazebag. He wants to make sure she's not out in the open showing any goods or anything like that. He's trying to be a good man. And as he's, like, walking away, trying to give her some privacy, he notices that, she's not alive. She's gone. And this is a big cliffhanger that the episode leaves us on, because the episode establishes not the original hero Nice, but our new Nice, the MC. His entire motivation, his goal and objective, why he's even able to live this life now in such a truthful way, is because of her. But now that she is dead, will he have a mental breakdown? Will he no longer be able to live those lies? You know, because the very reason for his existence is kind of gone. But it's not just that as well. It also makes you wonder what happened to her, because it was clear in the middle of the episode, she was A-okay. She was completely alive. She's right here. There's nothing wrong with her. But then you see that and you're like, okay, so what's going on here? Well, if you want my fan theory, don't worry, I've been spoiled, but this is my theory. I think the girl we see in this episode is a fake as well. I mean, what? Think about it. If these managers and stuff of this company can make an entire hero disappear that's that popular and turn into someone else, what's to say they haven't done it before? So I'm under the impression that the girl is also a fake and not even the original person that he likes, and the girl in the bed is the original, which is probably why Nice, aka the original hero, jumped. That's my assumption. So yeah, I think in general, I really like this show. It's excellent from start to finish. I love the contrast of animation from 3D to 2D. The story is very strong. It has a lot of things going for it. It has nice cohesion with everything. The voice acting is great. I haven't seen the Japanese yet, the Japanese version of this. I will have to, but the dub is really good. I really like this, and I don't know, man. It's fun, man. I gotta say, anime of the season for me. So far, out of everything, best anime yet. Hands down. So I'll leave it at that. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below if you like this series or you hate this series. You know, I'm very curious. Just tell me your honest thoughts down below. But I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out.